Hey everybody, welcome back to the Frugal Filmmaker Q&A. That's the show where you ask me filmmaking questions and I try to answer them. If you'd like a filmmaking question read on the show, please send me an email to thefrugalfilmmaker@gmail.com, or you can comment below or send me a message on Twitter @FrugalFilmmaker. Seeing how this is the first Tuesday of the month, that means it's Trivia Tuesday, where I test your knowledge of the Frugal Filmmaker, and at stake is one of these amazing prizes. We have the battery tester I've been giving away since the beginning of the year, or we have this cool learning remote control that I featured in my last episode. So if you're interested in winning one of these amazing prizes, stay tuned to the end of the show to listen to the trivia question and try your luck. All of our questions are from email this week, and the first is from Davis West, who says, I am a magician and I have a website to promote myself. Do you have any tips on filming promo videos, lighting, music, what type of videos to put in, etc.? I want to create a great way to show possible clients why they should hire me. This is a good question that we had kind of a few months ago when we talked about making a sizzle reel, and as a result of that question, I ended up making my own trailer, my own director's reel. That's sort of what you're looking at, is how can you feature your best stuff? Now you could do it like a movie trailer, which is different bits of different acts, or you could do something like one of your best acts from start to finish that's just incredible. There's all kinds of things you can do to make it interesting. I have no idea really what to recommend as far as lighting and music and that type of thing, because I don't really know what your style is, but if you know what your style is, and I would think that you would, you can then base your production design around that. Whatever it is, make sure it's the very best that you've got, because if you sell somebody on that very best thing, they're going to expect to see that very best thing when you perform for them. I think that's why so many of us are disappointed when we see a movie based on an awesome movie trailer, and the movie stinks sometimes because that trailer was just all the best bits compacted together and so tightly edited, and the music is awesome, and when we finally see it, it's just not that good because that just can't live up to what we saw. So make sure that you don't do that. Make sure that you don't oversell yourself, but sell what's really good about yourself and feature that in your video in every possible aspect. That's why it's called a sizzle reel. It's got to sizzle. Matthew May writes, I want to make it look like I'm shooting out streetlights so that the glass shatters and the light goes out. I'm not sure exactly how to go about this and was wondering if you have any thoughts. This is a really good question, a simple effect shot, and Matthew asked me if I wanted to answer this maybe in the Q&A or maybe make a video. I think both are a really good idea, but I'm going to say that you need to have a program that allows you to do masking. I have Sony Vegas Pro, I can do masking with it, but you can do it in After Effects or HitFilm or any other basic effects program. But basically what you're going to do is you're going to take footage of the light that you want to shoot out. You're going to lock your camera down and shoot footage of your light being off, and then footage of your light being on. So point your camera at your light right before the sun goes down and get footage of it with the light off, and then when the sun goes down, the light will come on. So you have two plates basically of the same exact shot. The only difference is the time of day and the light being on and off. You can probably see where I'm going with this. You can then put your footage in your timeline, and let's say you want to have the shot at night, obviously, if you're shooting out your light at night. So you've got the street light at night on the top layer, and then the street light off during the day on the bottom layer. Then you can just play your footage normally, the light is on, and then at the point where the light is supposed to be shot out, you're then going to cut a hole where that light is so that the bottom layer of the light off shines through. So then essentially, it's going to play, you hear the gunshot, the light is going to appear to go off immediately, and then you can always add the sound of breaking glass. And then on top of that, you can add the breaking glass effect, which you can add either from Action Essentials or something you can find on YouTube. Just look for some breaking glass with green behind it that you can key out, or maybe something with an alpha channel you might be able to find on the web. Shouldn't be that hard to find some kind of breaking glass effect, although I don't know if you will probably even need it, because even just the sound effect of the breaking glass and the light going out should probably be able to work well all by itself. Of course, there are many ways you can do this. This is just probably the simplest way. Use masking. Andrew Connolly's having audio problems. He says, I have a Rode video mic, and whenever I am inside near lights, the audio has a terrible hum. I need lighting for my movie, so how can I fix this? Well, not knowing what kind of lights you're near that are giving the hum, I would recommend initially seeing if you could just maybe swap out some of those bulbs. I mean, they might be fluorescents or they might be halogens. I don't know, it's hard to tell what's going to give off enough sound. You can often hear lights that are humming, but usually they're just older lights, or maybe the ballasts and fluorescent lights are old, if they even use the old ballasts anymore. But if you're near some lights that do that, you might want to think about swapping out the bulbs. Even just get some cheap incandescent bulbs and see if you can swap them out and see if that'll help. Obviously, LEDs aren't going to make any noise, and most modern lights don't create a buzz anymore. That's kind of an outdated thing. But if you're in an old building maybe and you have buzzy lights, it could be a problem. And if you can't swap out the bulbs, you might just have to shoot anyway and then in post try and remove the hum, which you can do in a free program like Audacity. I'll leave a link below in the description. It's got a pretty good noise removal tool. But if you're in a situation where you know you're going to have hum on your soundtrack, make sure you're getting a recording of just that hum all by itself. When you're doing room tone, for example, where you just take a minute the sound of the room without anybody talking or moving or doing anything. Get a sound of those buzzing lights, because you can go into Audacity and then take a sample of that buzz and then apply it to your whole track, and it will ideally remove that sound. So using one of those two methods or both ought to be able to help you in your situation. If anybody else has some comments, please leave them below. Chevy Dodd's having some struggle with audio also. He says in a recent video you showed a few mic stands with blankets on them in your room to help with sound. I'm looking for something similar for my situation, as it's important to be able to remove the sound material easily when working in my shop. I tried placing towels around my camera. That doesn't do much. I'm limited to my camera's built-in mic, so is there anything I can do easily and frugally to reduce the echo? First, I just have to say that if you're stuck using your on-camera mic for your audio, you're in a world of hurt, because there's no way you're going to be able to cut the reverb down created by that microphone. Even in an environment like this where I've kind of treated to get the best sound possible, if I were to use my on-camera mics, as I'm going to show you right now, you can tell that it just sounds terrible and it's not usable. So as a result, I'm wearing a microphone as close as I can to my mouth, and if this is an option for you, Chevy, I would highly recommend it. If you have a mic input on your camera, get a lav mic and go into that mic input. Even though it's going to be kind of bad because the preamps in most cameras aren't that good, it's going to be better than your on-camera mic. That's just awful. I can't stress enough how you should not use that microphone if at all possible. A lot of people do anyway on YouTube, I realize that. But as you point out, you get that horrible reverb, and the only way to get rid of that is to put the microphone closer to your face. I know you want a frugal solution, and you're probably going to say, well, my camera doesn't have a mic input. You know, mine doesn't either, which is why I got a sound recorder to run a microphone into. But even if you have a smartphone, you could wear a microphone and go and record sound in your smartphone. That would be an option if possible. But again, do anything to get away from that on-camera mic, because it is going to hurt you. And I don't think you can probably cut the reverb down in your shop very well because of all those metal surfaces everywhere. But if you get a microphone closer to your face, it will help a lot. I actually watched an older video of mine recently where I used to hide my Radio Shack mic kind of down on my body a little bit. And I watched it recently thinking, oh, why is it so boomy? Well, it's because it was about a foot away from my mouth, and now I'm wearing a microphone really close to my mouth, and as a result, the sound just improves that much more. So if you can't treat your room, get a microphone close to your face, which you should do anyway, even if you do have a treated room. That will help you a lot. You just have to deal with how you're going to record it if you can't record it into your camera. I'm sorry. And finally, we have Tom Cooper, who says, about 4 months ago, a black piece of tape appeared covering the Roland logo on the speaker behind you. Then about a month later, you dressed it up with googly eyes. What gives? Aren't they willing to pay for the promotion, or is it just a way to keep the door open to other vendors? Well, Tom, the fact of the matter is I've had so many vendors banging down my door to be featured on the show that I just can't pick one. So I covered up Roland's logo because they just didn't offer me enough money. So that explains the tape, but why the googly eyes? Let's find out. Now it is Trivia Tuesday, the first Tuesday of the month, where I test your knowledge of the Frugal Filmmaker, so get ready. At stake is one of these cool prizes, a Frugal Filmmaker First. I'm going to let you pick a prize if you win either the battery tester I've been giving away since the beginning of the year, or the cool learning remote that I featured in my last episode. So here is the question. I used to make a lot of rigs out of PVC pipe, which I became known for a while, but after a while I stopped using PVC and I started building camera rigs out of another material. What is that material? If you know the answer, send me an email to thefrugalfilmmaker@gmail.com. If you are the first one with the right answer via email, you will be able to win one of these prizes of your choice. So let me know by email. Don't comment, email. I'd like to thank everyone who wrote in this week, and if you have a question you'd like answered on this show, please send me an email to thefrugalfilmmaker@gmail.com. That's your best chance you have of getting your question read on the show, or you can comment below or send me a message on Twitter @FrugalFilmmaker. There's another Frugal Filmmaker video coming up this week, and then another Q&A on Tuesday, so we'll see you then. Bye.